So, what are some of the top three cultural misunderstandings that people need to avoid when doing business internationally?
It's a very good question. And international aspect is something that is in our daily lives. So it's not like nobody can, unless they live in a very remote area of a country, they are, they are part of an international trade or international relations. The phone we use, the fridge we have in the home, the car we drive, or the parts of the car we drive comes from. So the international aspect is part of our lives. So one thing that I come across, the biggest mistake, or I wouldn't say mistake because people do it unintentionally, the biggest awareness that people need to develop is that every culture is different and there is no right or wrong when it comes to cultures. And so that is the biggest, I hear from people saying that I went to this country, they are so rude. Okay, tell me a bit more, what do you mean by rude? Well, you know what? You go to a coffee shop or a bar and they say, what do you want? That's so rude. Okay, it's not what we are used to maybe in the UK or in the USA. The service and the people who serve you will have, act within that cultural frame and cultural understanding. But in another country, when people say to you, what do you want? They're not being rude to you. This is just simply an etiquette that, okay, I want to ask you, what is it that you want? Now, there are many ways of saying this. So assuming that what you'll receive or what the attitudes or behavior is going to be the same as your home country, I think that is the biggest awareness that people have to develop. And the other thing is, this is always the case with business people, because they go to another country, for a short period of time to develop relations or sell something or do a market research. And again, the cultural aspect of it, politics. In some countries, politics are spoken very openly. In some countries, don't. Some countries, people say, which party did you vote for? That can be just a normal question. But in some countries, this is a taboo. Nobody asks themselves, each other, which party they are voting for. And also some countries, politics can be very a point of passion. So people can be very passionate about politics. So avoiding talking about politics, football, and lastly, religion is so important because, again, it's all about cultural values, the thought process, and depending on the country, those three things can be at the top of the agenda, or it could be at the bottom of the agenda. Talking about football is probably don't mean anything, but in some countries, people are so passionate, saying something wrong for their football team. I know brothers kind of falling out because of they support different teams. So these are the things. I mean, you may say, David, okay, how will you know every single culture that you're getting interaction with? My suggestion is that, based on working with different cultures for the last 30 years, is having a tolerance built so that having a body language that is open and also pays attention to the other party. For instance, in some cultures, age is very important. So when a delegation walk into a room, chances are, if it's a high context culture, chances are the eldest person walking in first will be the top person in the room, and they'll never leave last. They'll always leave the room first. And nobody in the lower hierarchy will dare to leave the room before they leave. So reading those body languages and not assuming that, for instance, when I sit down and talking and I just do my button and, let's talk business now. Now this could be perfectly normal to you because, USA is when it comes to direct communication, USA, UK is very similar, very casual. And you say, hey, David. Yeah. But in some cultures, doing this before a meeting could come as a sign of aggression. So what is going on? Are you here to fight? Or, so reading the body language, reading the room, and also not assuming that what is funny for me, what is acceptable for me, will be also acceptable for the other party.